So based on the traction that we've had from when we started, our growth in our product, in our team, in our number of customers, and I think proof that the network effect that we first theorized is actually coming to fruition. Over that time, we've been able to, at different milestones, raise from pretty good, helpful, both strategic and financial investors. Previously, Navitas Capital, JLL, Nuveen, Jamf, to name a few. And so what we're announcing today is the next step in that journey, and sort of the next milestone that reflects the traction and the proof points that we've been able to put together. And so I'll let you go ahead and do that.
I think one of the things that makes us a little bit different is that Matt and I, we learned a lot of things at Walls, and one of the things that was pretty readily apparent to us when we started Swift was that we were going to be dealing with bigger entities, bigger enterprises, and as a consequence, we always had to build the company to be ahead of where a company normally would be at that stage. So we were really early to get SOC 2, really early to get a CISO for cyber risk, because we were going to have to pass the pretty rigorous requirements of global financial firms, global drug companies, global tech firms. Obviously that requires money, so we've always been pretty aggressive about raising money. And I think this round is really a capstone for us in the sense that we now have a great stable of customers, a really impressive list. We feel totally blessed to be able to have the customers we do, and to continue to provide them with the service, continue to expand our product line, the people, the support necessary to keep track of that. We had to go for a bigger raise in our Series 2, so we're pretty excited to announce that we've raised $37 million in this round. A mix of some of our existing investors, indicative of the fact that they're pretty happy with the experience so far, and a number of new investors that are really top quality. So we're super excited about this.
This round was led by Quadri Ventures, who we've grown to know and appreciate, and I think who appreciates what we're doing over the last 18 months. And following them is HID, who's been a great partner to us, and we've done a lot of deployments with and have a longstanding relationship with. Klingenstein Ventures, Aegis Capital Partners, who has also a history in the security space, and so we appreciate the experience that they can bring us. And then also joined by them are existing investors, again, JLL, Navitas, Spring Rock Capital, and a few others. So we're really happy with how this Series B turned out, and we think it puts us in a great position going forward.
You know, one to note is that Tanzola's, it's a family in Toronto that's big real estate family in Toronto that have been with us every round, and true to form, they've joined us this round with a good size investment as well. This fundraise ended up being bigger than we expected. We were thinking maybe we were going to end up with 20 to 25 million, and obviously we've ended up with significantly more than that. You know, and again, I think that's a testament to the quality of the team that we've been able to build, which has led to the quality of the customer base that we have. But with this money going forward, it's going to allow us, as I said earlier, we're first and foremost an engineering company, so we're going to continue to build out engineering. We've got a lot of product ideas. One of the cool things of working with Matt is he is probably one of the great visionaries in terms of how to take our base and expand it into related areas with really good products. So we've got to bulk up our engineering team to underpin and support that growth potential. We obviously want to continue to build out sales function and marketing. One of the interesting things is that from a sales function, we've yet to make an outgoing phone call. All of our sales traction has been from either introductions from existing customers or partners, incoming phone calls or referrals. So we think, we won't be able to do that forever, so we're going to have to build sales up somewhat. And then we want to continue to build out our infrastructure, our finance teams, our compliance, our cybersecurity teams to support that. And then finally, one of the things we always talk about is that we care about users having a delightful experience. And it's not just the users taking their phone to get into a building or having their hands full with coffee and able to use their watch to walk in. It's also anybody that comes into contact with us. So it's if somebody has a question about billing, we want their experience with our accounts receivable department to be a great department. Anytime you touch Swift, we want it to be a delightful experience, and people walk away and say, "Wow, that company's different." So we're really building up our customer support. It's already good, but our customer base keeps expanding, so we're doing that as well. And then finally, one of the things that we see is there's a number of companies that are starting to call us. They're kind of seeing the momentum that we're gaining and thinking about the fact that it's probably better to be with Swift rather than to try to compete with Swift or be in a related area. And we will make judicious acquisitions along the way where we think it's additive to our shareholder value, additive to our product, and additive to our customers.
Lee, for the next 12 to 18 months, this funding is going to help us continue to execute on our vision of being the physical access and identity network that we've already laid the groundwork and sort of a significant portion of the levels above that for. So we clearly have an interesting model where getting one customer usually helps us get another customer where those two customers have an existing relationship, for example, an enterprise and their landlord. We not only continue to push growth via that mechanism, but we also think there's value in the users that are part of our network. So, for example, if somebody is a user in us through their employer, but then is able to access a totally different building for a very temporary basis, but that building is also part of their network, that user's information, their identity is already a part of us. They could have a much more delightful experience if they didn't have to go through the front desk or go through a security guard check-in process and are able to just get into the location that they are permitted to on a very temporary basis. And we think that applies across verticals as well. So one of the things that we saw even early on, compared to where we are now, is that office landlords wanted to extend this network and the benefits of this of their amenities, their portfolio, and the single identity to their residential buildings as well. So if you live in a building owned by a landlord who has amenities in an office building, there's no reason that those two shouldn't interact. And so we think that's an area of growth. We think the hotel vertical is also interesting. The same people who work for our enterprise customers and enter those locations are also booking trips and staying in hotels around the world. And so, again, if we have their identity, we should be able to help ease their experience through that check-in process as well. And lastly, we have done some work in the higher ed vertical, and so we think that there's certainly a lot of opportunities there given recent events in the market.